Good. Got it? Good. Okay, good morning, everybody. After watching the video, proud of the guys. There were two. I know Jeremy always updates you with injury reports. Bryson Nesbitt played 9 plays, I think, so he didn't play much, but he at least played in the game, so hopefully he'll be well this week, ready to go. And Cameron Rucker played most of the game. So I feel like both of those guys should be more ready this week than they were last week, because Cameron didn't even get to practice last week in pads. So that was a tough situation for him to go into. But really proud of the guys finding a way to win. You go back and look, they're 5-0 on the road for the first time since 1997. We've never played 6 games on the road. So we had a 1925, there were 6 games, but 2 of them were at neutral sites. So this is the first time ever, and if you think, this will be the 6th road game out of 10 games, which is so unusual for a team. And after last year's team was 0-6 on the road, for this team to be sitting here 5-0 is very, very impressive for them. And we've continued to talk about it, but they're just learning how to win on the road, and they're learning how to win close games. And that's the next step in our program. You come in with 2 wins the year before, and you go to a bowl game and win. That's a significant step. Then the next year you go to the Orange Bowl, but you lost on the road at Florida State in a tight one. You lose on the road at Virginia in a tight one. Then you get beat at home with Notre Dame, and you're in that game. But you couldn't move the ball the second half till 5 minutes left in the game, and then the bowl game with Texas A&M without 4 of your best players, and you're still in the game till the end. So we made steps. Then last year we've over-talked probably about what didn't happen, and then this year we've got another step up. So I like the team's attitude. I like their confidence. I like the way that they're playing. Josh Downs, offensive player of the game, had 15 catches, 1 off of a school record, had a tremendous second half. Contributors on offense, Elijah Green continues to play well. DJ Jones came in on 3rd downs, and he had a huge play on a flare that he outran everybody to the boundary. John Copenhaver continues to get mentions on the field as an offensive player, really good with protection. Thanks, sir. And also Drake Maye continues to just impress us all with his growth. And the best offensive lineman was Spencer Raw. He played really, really well. Defensively, Ced Gray, 16 tackles. He could probably be the player of the game every week. Contributors were Don Chapman. He nearly came up with the interception. Javari Ritzy played really, really well, playing power end and 3 technique. And Storm Duck played again very, very well. He got beat on the deep ball, which we can't do, but other than that, he played really, really well and came up with an interception. Special teams player of the game, Josh Downs. So Josh was all over the place. And special contributors were Justin Olson. So good for Justin. Kids were excited for him. Obi Abuna plays well on special teams every week, and George Pettaway had the really good kickoff return. So those guys were impressive. We're the only team that's 5-0 in college football on the road, which is, again, very impressive. Most teams don't go on the road 6 times, and we've done it here 2 years in a row. Said 6-0 would be the first time ever. All the road games have been close, but we found a place, just a way to win. And what we've had opportunities in most of those road games to put our foot on the gas and separate. Same thing on Saturday. We're sitting there with an opportunity to put the game away at 38-21, and we go to a 4-minute offense, which we're trying to keep our same offense, just slow it down, and we didn't do a good job of converting a 4th and 3. And at that time, the game would have been over, and we would have gone on in to score and won by a number of scores instead of having to get an onside kick to win the game. But you go back to the games in Charlottesville, 48 of those games have been 7 points or less in the history of the game, the series. So it's been very, very close. There was a time where we were 4-16 out of 20 games at Charlottesville. And then we flipped that now to where we're 5 wins out of the last 7 trips to Charlottesville. And obviously we came up short 2 years ago with a fake punt at the end of the game. So proud of the guys, proud that they fought through it. I thought we didn't look great starting the game. We let them have the kickoff return to the 35-yard line, and then they took the ball and just marched right down the field and scored. They obviously were totally different offensively Saturday than they've been at any other time because they didn't have those receivers, so they just lined up and started running the ball and play action. And that's not who they had been. And our coaches made really good adjustments at halftime. We were second, 2 out of 5 with third downs in the first half. Offensively, 5 out of 9 in the second half, so we did much better. They were 5 out of 7 with their third downs in the first half and only 2 out of 6 in the second half. So we need to start the game better for whatever reason on both sides, but we've really played well in the second halves of games and coming out and being impressive. We did run the ball better. Elijah had 91 yards rushing and 4.1 yards per carry. And we went into the game wanting to run it better. We're doing a better job with penalties. There are only 5. And we look every week at what we can do to eliminate those. We gave up too many sacks. We gave up 4 sacks. Only 2 of them were the offensive line sacks. I looked at it last year at this time. We had given up 34 sacks, and right now we've given up 23. So that's a significant difference in the two. So we are doing a better job with our protections. As we said, we'd like to finish the game better. We didn't do a good job with red zone defense. They scored touchdowns instead of forcing them to get field goals. But the defense continues to play much better in the second half than the first half with the adjustments that the coaches are making. We're averaging giving up 8.4 points per game in the second half of the ACC games. We're averaging giving up 5.6 points in the fourth quarters of the ACC games. So we're playing much better defense than we're getting credit for. And I think we're holding the 24 points somewhere in there for the ACC games, 24 points per game, and it's all about scoring defense. Scoring offense and scoring defense makes the difference. Had a couple of really nice punt returns of 19 and 38 yards. Josh had a chance to be gone on that last one, so we're getting closer in that area. Didn't like the fact that they had the long kickoff return, as we said, to start the game. That's not who we've been. And we did kick a kickoff out of bounds, which is a killer with field position. So we don't need them placing the ball at the 35. The 64-yard punt right before the half by being Kieran kept them from having an opportunity to take it down and get some points. It totally flipped the field. And we said that George Pettaway did a good job on his kickoff return. It's just usually people are kicking them out, so you don't have a lot of opportunities to do that. After looking at Antoine Green's onside kick, he did really what he should have done because he wasn't going to score. If he could have scored outside of 3 minutes, you let him score. But he was going to get tackled, and instead of getting tackled, he went down, so there wouldn't be any chance to have the ball knocked away. So it was really a smart play by him. We've had more onside kicks than anybody. I think we've had 5, haven't we, or something. So we're getting a bunch of those here to work on it as we're going forward. But still need special teams to keep making a difference. Headed to Wake Forest for another tough game, another tough road game. We've had 2 unbelievable games with them the last 2 years at home. They whipped us pretty good up there the first year we were here in Winston-Salem, and we came back and fought and made it close at the end, but they were much more physical than we were and played much better than we did. We just came back and made it a game. Dave Clausen's done an unbelievable job. They've got a very good team. They have very few penalties. They had the unusual third quarter at Louisville 2 weeks ago, but they very rarely ever turn the ball over. They have the unique offense. Sam Hartman's one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and he's been so effective against us the last couple of years. And we we feel like it'll be a great game. It's just another tough game on the road where you've got to just continue to fight. Questions?
What have you told your team from last year to this year to get you guys to be the road team you are this year? Is it a matter of different talent level, or is it a different philosophy, or what is it?
I think it's just the team pulling together and playing with more confidence, and fourth year of your program, and you just take steps and strides, and sometimes you have to step back to go forward. And the things that we didn't do last year, we were able to work on and coach and preach and show them, if we'd done this in this game, we win the game. And that's the difference in winning and losing. It's just it's a game of inches, and sometimes it's the smallest things that make a difference. And we're doing those things better this year. We're scoring better in the red zone. We're going for fourth downs more aggressively and making them. Our kicking game's better. We've got fewer sacks. We've got fewer penalties. So they're just things that are helping us win.
Mack, Drake hasn't thrown an interception since the Miami game. I think it's 126. I forgot how many consecutive passes. And I'm wondering how, as a redshirt freshman, is he able to take care of the ball the way that he does? Like, how do you explain his lack of making those kind of mistakes?
Yeah, see, number one, he was raised in a football family. Number two, he was sloppy with the ball there for a couple of weeks, and we've been on him about that. He's really taking care of the ball and not fumbling the ball for the last couple of games. Three, we had 8 turnovers on the road compared to 1 at home. Saturday, we didn't have anything close to giving up a turnover. We didn't have a ball on the ground. He didn't have a pass that was even near where someone could intercept it. So it's so accurate. And I go back to you saying that the Georgia State interception was a penalty on them that wasn't called, and the Miami interception was really my fault for being so aggressive that he had 28 seconds left and he thought he had to throw the ball downfield, and that's we've been working on that. So I think both of those are probably one, the officiating mistake, and the other just me trying to be too aggressive to put him in that position. But I just think he's one of those guys that he's so competitive, and football's so important to him that he's got a really good learning curve. And when he sees something that he needs to get fixed, he puts total emphasis on it and he fixes it. He's so competitive that he wants to win every game.
Drake said after the game Saturday that he had that run, he went out of bounds about the 2-yard line. He said for a split second he thought about leaping into the end zone. He said he didn't think he could jump over John Copeland here, who was blocking. How challenging is it for a guy, especially a young guy, to change an instinct in a span of 4 or 5 weeks in the middle of a season? Because clearly that's what he's done.
Yeah, it's so tough because he's so competitive, and that's his nature. And it's hard to say, if you're going to score, go score. If he had dove for the end zone and scored, I would have understood. We've said first downs and touchdowns, go for it. Any other thing, slide. There were a couple where he had the first down and didn't slide. And that's what we've got. He's got to just protect himself better, take care of himself when it is in a position where it doesn't matter.
Have you seen him also make progress as far as when to get out of bounds when he's running, maybe not taking that extra hit the last month or so?
Yes, he's much smarter and he's going down much more. He's so much better runner than people talk about, because he makes yards. And if you think he's so accurate, he's throwing to 8 to 10 different receivers every game. So you got to spread out and cover him. If you get man coverage, he can avoid the blockers. The rushers. Our protection's better, and then he can run for 10 yards. So that's what makes him so effective as a runner as well.
Mack, talking about the rushing or Drake's running ability, the way the game shook out Saturday, Elijah was the only running back to carry the ball. Do you think that's just a symptom of the game, trying to win the game? I think Drake had 16 carries maybe, something like that. Just the way that shook out, what did you see there? And, I mean, like, did you think that was too much to put on one guy in terms of Elijah or Drake?
You know, Adam, their quarterback's been their leading rusher. And it's happening more now with college football. And the more we throw, the more scrambles there are. So most of those were scrambles. They weren't quarterback draws. They weren't designed runs. And I've told Phil, I don't want a whole lot of design runs with him. That's not like we had with Sam last year. He's going to make enough. He's going to have enough runs when protection is good and they're covered that he can run and make yards. So let's don't add to that. But most of those Saturday were scrambles.
Mack, late, you had an opportunity, you mentioned it earlier, to sort of put the game away. Is there, aside from slowing it down, is there a philosophical, whatever that word is, difference in what you want to do on offense there? Josh looked like he was open or
Yeah.
up and down.
No, Tommy, it's a good point and right. What I've tried to do is normally in those situations, you slow it down, you get two tight ends, and you run the ball. And that's not who we are. I'd like to think we are, but we're not we're going to run it whether you know it or we know it. It's not our style right now. We throw it better than we run it. And we run it better when we spread out and the numbers are right. So what I've asked the offensive staff to do, and we didn't do a good job of it on Saturday, at the first time we had it, we did the last time. I've asked them to keep the same offense exactly that we run and snap the ball with 3 seconds left. And that's hard because those kids are standing there and they're standing there. When you got 40 seconds, like they're standing there forever. So to help, I've asked Phil to signal the play in a lot later. And then you saw once, I think Drake snapped it with 9 seconds, and then once he had to hurry to get it snapped. So it's just not normal for him. So it's uncomfortable. But the last 3rd and 2, we threw to Josh and made the first down. The other 4th and 3, we ran into too many. And that's where we've got to have a check with me, or the whole playbook's still got to be open. And coaches through forever have said, stay in bounds, don't throw the ball, let the clock run. Well, that's not what we do best right now. So what we've got to do is throw high percentage passes in our offense and catch them, because that's what we do, and keep the clock running. And then we came out on the other one with 7 minutes left. We throw a slant. It's a bad throw. I don't like slants in those situations because they can be tipped inside. I like outside routes better than inside routes. So there's just some philosophical things there that we can do better.
Matt, when you have a shorter road trip like this, hour 30 minutes to Winston-Salem versus a longer one like Miami or Virginia, does it almost feel like more personal to you? No, this may be a silly question, but does it feel like personal, these closer games?
No, it doesn't. You know, Duke's different because we stay in the same hotel. NC State's different because we stay here. So it is different. But Wake Forest, you got to go to another hotel. You're going to be there. The biggest difference, I think, is the fact that we'll have fans there. Our fans did a great job of coming to Virginia, and that's something that happened when I was here before. And we need that same fan support, or even more, for the tickets that are still available in Winston-Salem, because it just feels so much better for our team, and our band was there, and we had a bus with students, and so that makes it feel more comfortable.
Aaron Beard couldn't make it. He asked me to ask you a question about big picture about the ACC.
Tell him unless you're here, we don't answer questions.
So with Clemson, he said the ACC's had 4 or 5 teams ranked pretty consistently, but with Clemson losing, it appears the league has a long shot to make the CFP now. You want to know what your thoughts about that were and kind of where that places the league on the national landscape.
I would think, Aaron, it's way too early to start talking about that. I remember at ESPN, they always said, who do you think? And your 4 changed every week. This is they're a lock, man. Then they get upset. And it happened this weekend. Just crazy to see how much difference is there. So what we've told our guys is just keep playing. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about anything except Wake Forest. And really and truly, all the other talk about college football playoff and championships and all those things are fun for fans. They're fun for media. They're only distractions for kids. What we'll tell our kids today is, or tomorrow in the morning meeting, is thank you for getting us where we're playing for some good stuff in November, because that matters, and most people aren't, and it's fun, and it's about you. Your parents are happy, your fans are happy, your university's happy, your students, administration, coaches, everybody's getting to enjoy this, but you just got to keep doing what you're doing, and we got to keep getting better as a team. We've got to play Wake Forest better than we played Virginia to win the game. We didn't play a full game at Virginia like we should, in my estimation, so we've got to get better.
You talk about Sam Hartman being one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He's had an uncharacteristic last 2 weeks with the second half of that game against Louisville, and then last week, this past week against NC State. How do you keep him out of the rhythm? How do you keep him from returning to Sam Hartman to destroy it?
Well, it's hard. You got to stop the run, which we haven't done very well, and you got to get pressure on quarterbacks, and we haven't done that very well. So Louisville and NC State did a better job of that than we've been able to do. So we've got to figure out today and tomorrow who we're going to be in this game defensively.
Do you think this is going to be one of the best quarterback duels you've seen in a long time with Maye going up against Sam Hartman?
Absolutely. You know, we've got great quarterbacks in this league, and now you're just you see these two. We've seen Sam score in the 50s 2 years in a row, so we've seen him complete, and those receivers are as good as anybody will play because of the uniqueness of their offense. Their running game is always going to be good, but Sam's just so accurate. I mean, that's what he does. Like I said, I've stood out there and watched 50-something points 2 years in a row. So when he completes something Saturday night, it will not be the first time I've seen it.
Speaking of fun discussions for the fans, would you say right now Drake belongs in New York, regardless of how Heisman voting ends up? But
I think we've got to finish the season to see. I remember in talking to so many of the Heisman voters, because we had guys in Texas, and they always say at the end of the year, that's a Heisman moment. That's what gets you there. It's got to be a game. You got to win, and you got to keep playing good. So I think it's too early.
How many of you had go to New York? I think you had 2 winners, right?
No, just had one winner. I've had three go. We had Ricky Williams won, Vince was a runner-up, and Cole was a runner-up.
Vince never won.
Coach,
Vince lost to Reggie Bush right before we went to the national championship game.
Yeah, that's right.
So
the coach who tried to meet speaking on the SEC honors, I was hoping you could talk more about his recruitment as a player as well as what it means to you.
who?
Coach who tried to meet.
Yes.
I was just wondering if you could talk about his recruitment as a player and what it means to you and the program as a player.
Yes. Natron was.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Natron was probably, he and Randy George were probably the biggest reasons that we flipped it when we were here the first time. Because I remember it was the 3rd year and we'd won none. We were 2-20 and we were 6-4-1, and I think that's the year we tied. It was 90, and when Georgia Tech tied us when they won the national championship, because we could run the ball. And before that, we couldn't do anything on offense. It was just crazy. And we had Kennard Martin the first year, but no defense. And then we weren't good on either one of them the second year. So being able to run the ball with Natron and Randy Jordan really gave us a chance. And then Jason Stanisak comes in, so we can start running some option and some play action pass and stuff. I think that was about the 7th game of the season or something. Yes, he's a huge difference in our program here. And he's done an outstanding job. He's an analyst, so he can't coach, but just being around, and now I think it's been announced, Tenet, that he's the ACC, North Carolina's ACC Legend of the Year. So that's pretty cool for him as well.
You have a vast pool of friends and associates in this sport. Have you heard from a lot of those people, especially recently, about Drake just calling up to say, what's up with this kid? Why is he so good?
Yeah, he's the buzz. There's a lot of people talking about him across the country. And all my friends, 71 and 40-something years in this business, you got a lot of friends. Got some enemies too, but you got a lot of friends. And I guess I hear from the enemies too. They don't like us. So, but I think the biggest thing is they're all saying, wow, that young guy's really good, because they see parts. They'll before their games, they'll watch our game or try to watch it some after their game. But I get probably 200 texts after every game some good, some not so good.
Have you heard from someone that you've known for a long time, maybe you haven't heard from for a while, that kind of surprised you, that just wanted to just talk about Drake, just kind of they're not even really in the business anymore, but he's piqued their interest, so they're just curious?
Yeah, I don't think so. Really, most of the people are people that stay in decent touch. You know, it's not like somebody's just come from nowhere to see it, but he's played better than we would expect for a freshman, for sure.
Do you answer all those 200 texts?
I do. I can't not answer a text. I just thank God for emojis.
Mack, who are your enemies? Seems like you're friends with everybody.
No. There's some that don't like me. They just don't say it publicly.
Thumbs up emoji? Is that what you go to?
I can't do thumbs up because that was an Aggie thing when I was in Texas.
Man.
So-
So what's your go-to emoji?
It's usually the hands and the heart and the hands. So that's and I've said with a blue heart, it's okay. You can send that to anybody. Red hearts, you have to be careful. So I'm learning.
That's good stuff.
You mentioned Elijah Green at the top and Adam Macedon as well. I mean, pretty incredible him coming from 5th on the depth chart, kind of an afterthought to where he is now. It seems like your top back. Speak to kind of that and what you like from him against Virginia.
Yeah, Ross, the biggest thing is the message that he sends to all of those that think they're not playing enough, whether it's on our team or somebody else. What he did instead of in a modern day of transfer portal is talked about daily, breaks his thumb, 5th running back, working on the scout team with a cast, running as hard as he can, make our defense get better, going to the special teams coaches to find a place to play, a running back that's never played defense, tackling as a gunner, working after practice every day on his pass protection and catching the ball, even with a broken thumb. I mean, he's earned his way into a spot, and I'm so proud of him. And I do think because of the way he responded and the success that he's having, it's helped our team, because the rest of them are saying, I got it. If I'll just keep working, an opportunity comes. And then when it does, you got to be ready, because it may not come twice. And he is a great student, does everything perfect every day. But he has been one person on our team that has helped a lot of the other guys with their place and getting better and understanding that we don't care who plays, we just want to win.
But Mac, just to follow up on that from Ross, with Elijah, like it seems like the speed and the power and the balance. Like, I mean, even if you had everybody healthy at running back, like, I mean, would his physical abilities maybe, I mean, you got a lot of physical abilities there. Like, I mean, is the blend of it maybe the best combination of it all that you have? Not to disparage anyone else. But
Yeah, Adam, it wasn't because he couldn't catch, but he's worked himself into a position where he's really good. The flare that he caught, he outran everybody. I mean, but I was standing right in front of him, and I thought that was a wild moment because he was so fast, and I thought they had the ankles, and I was really shocked that he outran them, everybody to the goal line very easily. And I would like for us to play some of the other backs. We didn't mean for him to be the only back in the game, and he takes care of the ball. So, and there's one of the 4th downs. He was going to score if he kept his feet. There was a 4th and 2, I think. No, 4th and 1, and he squirted it not right, and he just tripped a little bit. Or that's a walk-in.
yeah.
But I'm really, really pleased with him, and he's helped us. When you lose 2 backs like British and Caleb, you could be in trouble. And then 2 freshmen that are sitting there as well. And then I'm really, really proud of DJ Jones, like I'm proud of Elijah, because he played 14, 15 plays, all of them on 3rd down. But that flare that he caught and took a little dip inside and bounced out was a huge play. And I think that was a 3rd down. And it was a huge play when we needed to go down and score, and I think it led to a score. And DJ's had a tremendous attitude as well.
Wanted to ask about another player that a secret or sneaky special season. Austin Richards in 409 pass blocking reps. He's only allowed 5 total pressures, no sacks. You know, he's been. I mean, what have you seen from him?
Yeah.
Seems like he's not being talked about enough right now.
No, our offensive line's done a really good job, and probably we've thrown so much. You talk more about offensive lines when you're running the ball and you're getting a lot of rushing yards, but when we're not running it as much, it's even tougher for those guys to pass protect, and he is having an awesome year. William Barnes is playing lights out. You know, we lost him to an upper body injury there for 2 weeks, I think, and John Adorno came in and played well, but all those guys are playing really, really solid, and Jack's done a good job with them. But awesome is just no mental mistakes, no penalties. He's really doing a good job.
It's just the development, experience that getting to the point now where those guys are.
It is. He started for us 4 straight years, and he was I think an all-state basketball player. I know he was a center on a basketball team in Philadelphia that won, I think, 33 games. So he's really athletic. And the biggest thing he needed is just to get stronger, and he's doing that.
Mack, when you're watching guys like Drake, Josh, Elijah, is it hard to, how hard is it to remain purely analytical when they make spectacular plays? Keep that coach filter on, or are there some moments where you just have to stand back, catch your breath, and wow?
I've been lucky that I've seen a lot of great players, so that's what I expect. And we've recruited really hard for 3 years now. First year, you kind of get what you can get because of the early signing date and the new coach, but the last 2 years, we've gotten some really good players. I see Gavin Blackwell come in and make an unbelievable play for 2 weeks in a row that really helps us get a drive for a touchdown. I see Kobe Pesar going in at any time, and he looks really good. So there's just guys like that are making plays, and we expect that. And then you take out a Bryson Nesbitt, who's been such a vital part of our passing game. He really doesn't play, and it's not a factor Saturday. We got other tight ends to step up and go too. So we've got a lot of really good players right now, and we've still got to get that more consistent defense. We're getting better, but I didn't like the way we started. We've got to get a faster start on offense, but we've got good players, and we just need to coach them well.
Mack, you said after the game, just talking about the defense, you told us, we'll get better, in terms of having to move some guys around and everything. I know we can ask Gene about this, but, how do you, just from an overall view, how do you think maybe this version of your defense can play the rest of the season? How do you see that? I mean, does Rucker now have to become your Jack? If he's healthy, from what you saw Saturday, what were your takeaways into what you can do there on defense?
We've got to do a great job of making all that fit this week. It was hard last week because you're asking Kamen Rucker not to practice, not sure about his upper body injury going into the game, and to play 2 positions. And then we got some calls in late because their formations were late. You're nearly getting, so you've got to see who's on the field and then just make a call. You can't wait and see the formation. You've got to have an idea of who they've got in the game because people that are trying to slow the game down. We had 4 possessions the first half, and that was part of what Virginia was trying to do, is slow the game down like Pitt and keep the ball out of Drake's hands. And then they get to the line of scrimmage so late, you're trying to match the call, and you're late getting it out there. So we've got to make sure that it's the combination of who should be at each position, and we've had such good depth over there, and we've lost that now. We've lost some of that. But you saw guys like Kendrick Binkley-Jones play 10 plays, and Travis Shaw playing maybe 15. So they're getting some snaps that matter now. We didn't have that before. We'd have to go back and look at Jacoby Cowan. He played a lot.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at that, and what do you do by putting Jabari Ritzie in 3 technique and power in? And how much does that take away from him at 3 technique, and how many plays does he play? So all those things are things, we have more information now than we had last week. The Pitt game was so physical, we were really banged up. last Wednesday, I took the pads off. We didn't practice in pads because we couldn't. And it's the first time since we've been here we've done that because we're just so banged up. So hopefully we'll be better this week and we'll know more about how those guys responded. And that's what today's about. Last night was a long night because you put to bed Virginia, but you're talking about all those things. The coaches all day today, that's all they do is try to figure out what we're going to be against Wake. And that's studying Wake all day as well. And that'll go late into the night. But that's what you do. They can run the ball, they can throw the ball. They really beat you. They throw it deep 20 times a game. And they've got really good receivers that go up and get it. So that's who they are. And so we're going to have to do a great job of covering. We haven't gotten as many sacks as we would want. And a lot of the sacks we get have been by blitz. They haven't been natural sacks. So those are all things that you try to figure out on Monday.
Is there any special kind of preparation you have to go through to handle a wide receiver as good as Wake's?
No, if you think about it, we were prepared for that with Virginia because theirs are great. But these guys, what we do is tell our guys, you're playing against great receivers every day in practice, so just put a Wake jersey on them. And that's what you got to do. You got to cover great players. Wake has done an unbelievable job of evaluation and recruiting. Some of these receivers are just, they're really good. They're great players, and they always seem to find them and have them.
Mike, as far as grading with players or analyzing how well they do you use outside, PFF, we always hear about that and all, or is it completely in-house with you and your staff?
It is. And what we do, Tommy, is try. You want a great effort and you want a great technique. If you lose games, it's usually because you got missed assignments, you got penalties, and you got turnovers and mistakes in the kicking game. And those are four things that happen. But you've got to be careful. If you've got a guy that's playing great, and this happened when I was here before, if he's playing great, but he's not a grader. He just makes plays all over the place, and he still lines up wrong some. They would talk about Lawrence Taylor. They said they played with 10 and turned him loose. And that makes sense because it worked. You have to be really careful that the one that does everything perfect and grades really high doesn't make any plays. So I quit grading as such. We grade production more than just every little thing that they do. Who's making the plays and why are they making plays and what do we need to do to put them in a better position to do that. And Tommy, the true success is the more guys that you can get that make plays, the better your team is, and that's where the depth comes in. And do you trust them? And that's, we've told them, don't ever tell a kid on Friday how many plays he's going to play, because the game changes. And you don't know how many plays he's going to play. And if it's working, sometimes you just leave it alone. And if it's not working, you'll put in a whole new group just to try to let them go. And then like we put in the white team offensive or defensive line on Saturday, and then move the ball right down the field. Those guys, they've all been saying, I should be playing more. The guy in the sky don't lie, man. We put you out there, play. I don't want to hear it, I want to see it. And we've talked to this team a lot about keep your mouth shut and play. We've had a lot of hype. It's time to play. Don't talk about it, do it. And we have told them all too. We do truly love all of you. We want what's best for all of you. But there's a different mentality off the field than there is on the field. Off the field, we take care of all of you equally. And we want you to get your degree, and we want you to have a better life after football. On the field, we got to play who's playing best to win. You can't. You may love somebody. If he's not playing good, you're not going to play him. It's about winning, period, 100%.
Mack, I've heard you loud and clear on, but 4 games left, 3 games left. There's no sense in talking about it until it happens. But one win clinches the coastal no matter how it comes. You wipe out all the other scenarios. Do you at any point, Sunday when you're in team meeting, just say, all right, guys, one more and we got this thing? You don't dwell on it, but I'm saying, do you just like put it up there on the board and say like,
Yeah.
one more.
I really don't, because here's what I've told them, and I really believe this, is that I don't want to get in the conference championship game unless we've earned our right. Let's be good. Let's don't slip in the back door. And we've got 2 very emotional rival games left, and Tech whipped us really good last year in Atlanta. So no, I want this team to keep getting better. I don't want them to, I think somebody told me we're 14th and 15th in the polls, and we'll see the college football poll tonight. Good for them, they've earned that, I'm proud of them. That'll be mentioned in the morning. But other than that, let's go play. Let's go play. Let's get better as a team, because there were so many things we didn't do right Saturday. And we're finally at a point where we don't have to play perfect to win. But that performance Saturday is not going to beat Wake Forest. So let's be factual about what we didn't do instead of what we did do.
Mack, I think it was the spring of 21, you were consulting with Pete Carroll about how to create more turnovers. This year, in every game except Georgia State, you guys have come away with at least one. What has been the key to that success this year?
The biggest thing, CL, is that the older you get on defense and the more aware you get, the more people can punch a ball out or tip a ball. Or we said all week last week that tip balls are interceptions. And we got one with Storm Duck, and we nearly got another one with Don Chapman. We're still not knocking enough balls loose. We knocked the Pittsburgh ball loose on a 3rd one, I think. But we've got to punch more balls out. We've still got to get more on the ground. But it's there's this. We talk about all these things, and then there's 4 or 5 things that really make a difference in winning and losing. And the stats are phenomenal for the team that gets maybe 3 turnovers to 1. If you get 3 to 1, you win a game. And as important as that is, we don't talk about it enough. And still, it's what we've got to do. Hidden yards in the kicking game are things we don't talk about enough. But we should have gotten a touchdown out of Josh Downs' 38-yard punt return. That got us in a position to do that. So I think that's the biggest thing, is that, and we're taking care of the ball, and we're not going to play somebody who doesn't. They know that. You cannot drop the ball and play. That loses games. So love you, appreciate you. Maybe you make plays, but what's it worth if you drop it? So the guys understand that we coach ball security every day, and because you're coaching it every day on offense, it's emphasized that you've got to knock it loose every day on defense.
In 2022, can you still make a kid carry a ball all day?
You probably could. Dick Tomey joined our staff at Texas, and the first thing he did, it really took me back. We had somebody fumble. And he'd been a head coach for 28 years or something, and we didn't know it. He took the ball and made the kid, he was the defensive end coach. And he said, come here. He took the ball and pitched it to the kid every 5 yards, and he had to go fall on it and get back up, and fall on it and get back up. So after it was over, I said, Dick, what are you doing, man? You don't coach running backs. And he said, can't fumble the ball. You just can't fumble the ball. I said, I got it. So biggest thing we do is we take pictures off of the video, which is amazing what you can do now, of ball security during every game and every practice. And we show the guys when they're not carrying it properly, it's there and it's real. So they need to understand, and we talk about it every day. It's on the nose every day. And you don't want to panic the kids by talking so much about not fumbling. So you talk about ball security instead of the negative.
In fact, you almost cringe when you see, the struggles Hartman has had the last 2 games, because the law of averages might work out the way this guy's had. He's so good that he's gonna come back with a vengeance in some ways. It's almost like,
It was the same way with Brennan Armstrong. I said, don't watch all those other film. They don't play us that way. So that we'll find his best video. We'll take highlights. We'll take clips out, and that's who he'll be against us. And that's what we expect. And we will fully anticipate him playing great. We've always said, like Notre Dame, when Notre Dame came in here, I said, guys, watch the Ohio State film and don't watch anything else. They're not going to play us like they did Marshall. It's just not going to happen, 100%. And we saw it against Syracuse. They played great, and we saw it against Clemson. I mean, that's potentially they're one of the best teams in the country. And for whatever reason, and now that we're 8-1, we excite people when they play us, so we're going to get the best shot. Got it?
I think we're good, Coach.
Thanks, everybody.